from an Airstream somewhere in Tornado Alley, bringing you the people, places, and stories from the Panhandle to the Red River. This is your Only in Oklahoma show.
And welcome to the show. I'm Brett.
And I'm Harley.
This week, we're headed out west on Route 66 to Fort Reno and El Reno, Oklahoma, for a brief history lesson and some spoopy, scary stories with Wendy Ogden. And later on, we're going to take a look and see what's going on for your weekend right here on the OnlyinOKShow. Harley, what's going on?
Not much. It is episode 2.
Episode 2. It feels like we just left.
It's October 2nd.
October 2nd. We have 29 more days of nothing but pumpkin patches and haunted houses.
And spoopy. What the hell is a spoopy?
Spoopy? I don't know. It's something, I'm in a lot of these movie groups, and a lot of the young people are saying spoopy movies. I've never heard that before. I have never heard spoopy movie.
I'm going to have to say that is horse crap, and it should be deleted from the internet.
Well, one thing I don't want deleted, because I need proof, you have been doing some culture club activities. You did a little Fiddler on the Roof.
I did. Connor and I, my son and I, went to see Fiddler on the Roof this weekend at the Oklahoma City Civic Center.
Yes, and did you practice your Broadway clap, your little... It's like a golf clap, but with more people? I don't know.
Yes, I guess.
How was it? The look on your face, I know you want to be excited, but this is kind of a new thing for you.
It's a new thing for me.
Have you been before?
To the Civic Center, yes.
To a musical?
Yes.
Okay. Did you drink wine or eat chocolates? I mean, what did you do? What did you do to get into the musical mood? Anything?
I received free tickets.
Gosh.
Immediately got me into the mood.
But we've got that interview with Wendy Ogden coming up, though. Hang tight. All right, 6 goes into 7. 1 is... God, I'm so frustrated. I'm scared to death. I'm an independent contractor, and I don't want to get punched in the jimmy by the IRS.
Brett, why don't you give our buddy Justin over at the Holiday Tax Group a call? One of their specialties is tax preparation and planning. And then on top of that, if you have a run-in with the IRS, they're going to have your back.
Perfect. But how do I find them?
You can reach them at holidaytaxgroup.com. And if the independent contractor thing works out for you, they also do estate planning. So they got you back on that one as well.
Oh, thank goodness. Thanks for the advice. That's holidaytaxgroup.com. Holiday with 2 L's. So how do you make American and Oklahoma history interesting, or dare we say even a little spooky? Might we suggest you head out west to Fort Reno and El Reno, Oklahoma? And joining us today is the Director of Darkness, the Mistress of Mystery, Miss Wendy Ogden. Wendy, what's up?
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
I'm sitting here looking out my window here at Fort Reno.
Oh, gosh. We had a hard time getting connected right off the bat, so there may be some residual ghosts in the machine. So what?
You never know here.
Okay, so what made you want to get involved with such a thing, and how did it all start for you?
I was in the medical field and was laid off when there was some transitioning, and so much to my surprise, I received a phone call, and the job fell in my lap. I was asked to come out to Fort Reno, talk to them, learn about the job duties and so on, and here I am 5 years later.
I've been researching you. I wanted to make sure I was talking to the right person. It sounds like you're the right person for the job. So with that being said, you had quite an undertaking out there. There's a lot of history that's gone into Fort Reno. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the span of history here at Fort Reno, before it was ever Fort Reno, but the span of history you'll learn coming out here to Fort Reno runs from about 1867 through 1952. It wasn't until 1874 that Fort Reno was even a twinkle in the government's eye, and that's when it became established as the camp near Cheyenne. And then 1875 is when it turned into an actual military post known as Fort Reno.
So with great history comes great bloodshed. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about its involvement with civil wars, world wars? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Fort Reno is actually, as the military post was established, it is all post-Civil War. Everything here at Fort Reno was established after the Civil War around the Little Bighorn battle with Custer, which is a whole nother set of American history. The dates span before the fort's history is actually Chisholm Trail Cattle Drive history. As part of the Chisholm Trail Cattle Drive came westward out of a little town about 15 miles east of Fort Reno known as Yukon. They stopped at the Molly Spencer Farm at roughly Garth Brooks and Vandament before it was Molly Spencer Farm, and that's where the cattle and the horses were actually watered. That is when the wagons discovered that they were not going to be able to continue northward through Yukon and cross the Canadian River. So they pulled some cattle out of the main cattle drive coming westward as far west as what is the commissary lawn today here at Fort Reno.
So that's why there's that historical marker in Yukon for the Chisholm Trail cattle drives, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of history there, Wendy. What kind of experiences are people generally seeing there?
They, of course, come in, they experience. I'm going to start with the history because the history here is vividly rich. Some people will come out and they'll go, well, this is nothing out here. Well, this is actually everything out here. They learned that this is where Oklahoma statehood really began here in Indian Territory. Now, as far as any paranormal things, yes, this is a very active post. You never know who's going to feel what at what time of the day. It doesn't matter day or night. There are all kinds of experiences that happen on the paranormal level here at Fort Reno.
Well, in having the cemetery be a major focal point for Fort Reno, there's just so much history out there. You just never know who you're going to run into, living or dead, probably.
That is correct. Now that you brought the cemetery up, it dates back to 1874. There's nearly 200 graves. Out of the 200 graves, approximately 2/3 of them were interred in the 1800s. The earliest burial out there was December of 1874, and the last one buried in the cemetery was May of 1948. It has 73 and a half years of history.
So of the interned, what are some of the more popular headstones that people visit out there?
Well, you have one of Custer's former Indian scouts that defied Custer at the Battle of the Washita's at Black Kettle on November 27th, 1868. It was a massacre of Indians ordered by Custer, and Ben Clark defied Custer by dismounting from his cavalry horse and going into the Indian encampment that was mainly women, children, and elders. He walked in on some Native American mothers and their daughters picking berries before the cold spell took them, pushed them to a nearby ravine, laid his body over them, sheltering them from the gunfire. And when the gunfire subsided, Ben Clark transported those women and girls to the nearby Camp Supply. And there's where the Darlington history started unfolding that eventually led to Fort Reno.
And I believe Darlington Road's named after the Darlingtons, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. Brenton Darlington, he was a Quaker that was the director of the Darlington Indian Agency when it was originally established in Camp Supply.
So since you've been with Fort Reno for 5 years, you've been around it, seen it, probably felt it. Are there anything, because again, we're kind of getting into the heart of really when people start looking to get, some spooks and specter activities. For you personally, has there been anything that's happened to you personally were you skeptical when you came in and now you're a believer? Or?
Absolutely. When I come out here, and then of course my history as a young girl, I did some volunteer work out here through events when I was about 8, 9, 10 years old. So I was familiar with the fort's history, but who really has an interest in history at that age? It usually comes in later in life. So when I came out here and in the past, I'd been to some of the spirit tours out here. And it was just one of those things that you're a skeptic until it happens. When I took my position out here, my position was originally at the United States Cavalry Museum that moved here from Fort Riley after restoring the 1876 duplex for the married officers.
Oh, wow.
It sat vacant here at Fort Reno for 30-something years before its restoration.
That's crazy.
So nobody was allowed in.
So, Wendy, you just mentioned the spirit tours. You have a few of those dates coming up. Can you tell us when those are happening and what people should expect?
Yep. Our next spirit tour, we have 2 of them in October. We have an October 12th and an October 26th. We take reservations up to the Friday before the actual ghost tour, spirit tour. And we always have typically anywhere from 100 to 130 people attend these. Our spirit tours begin in March and run through the end of October. This year, during the October spirit tours, we've kind of dressed it up a little bit and added a little bit of fun, more spooky decorations and such. And it's going to be a special trick-or-treat night where the children that attend the event will have a nice bag of assorted candies to take with them when they leave.
Now, talking about what's coming up in the future, I know that we just missed the Tombstone Tales event that you guys and gals put on out there, and you sent me some of the pictures. The food is what really drew me in, but as far as an experience goes, I wish we hadn't have missed it. When do you have one of those coming up on the horizon? Anytime soon?
You know, we had our Tombstone Tales. We brought it back last year. Tombstone Tales was actually rained out because we had some flooding rain. So this year, when we decided to bring it back, we brought it back with a bang. It was highly successful, and we put a limit on it this year because we were really trying to step it up and make it something bigger and better. And boy, we did that. It was so successful that come April, we are launching some extreme fundraisers to raise $300,000 to restore Ben Clark's home here at Fort Reno. And with that large event, that large fundraising event, we are actually talking about doing Tombstone Tales at the end of the evening after we have some festivities going on to raise money throughout the fort during the day. So we're looking at a possible April day.
Oh wow, that's and are you going to lock me in for that one? Is OnlyinOKShow going to be invited to that? Okay,
you will be at the top of our list.
So real quick, you mentioned fundraising. Obviously, Fort Reno they get no federal funding. Everything is kind of out of pocket and out of donation. Is that what keeps you rolling through the year? Is the ghost tours and
yes, our museum is open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Through our museum, we have a small admission rate that, you know, we try to make it where it's cost efficient for everybody to get in instead of overcharging the pocketbook. We want to be able to allow people in to learn not only just our local, state, and American history, but world history right here in one location. And so we do events monthly beginning in March all the way through our Christmas season, raising the money for operations. We also have a 1944 chapel here at Fort Reno that was built by the POWs here that were captured under Rommel. It was the Africa Corps. And so in 1943, the POWs that arrived here at Fort Reno built the chapel to say thank you for treating them so well during their time here. We utilize that chapel year round for weddings and meetings and things like that. So for anybody looking for a wedding chapel, this chapel is absolutely amazing. It's original 1944. It's amazing. I can't even urge you enough to even come out here just to see the chapel if nothing else.
So Wendy, if people are looking to help your cause or to find your calendar of events or anything of that nature, what's the best way for people to find that information?
They can go to our website, which is www.fortreno.org. There is a calendar of events that is updated frequently. I do all that on my spare time when I'm not here at Fort Reno and in between group tours. Again, the website's www.fortreno.org, and you can find us on Facebook at Fort Reno. You can go there. We update everything there as quickly as possible and keep it as up to date as possible. So that's where you can find our schedule of events.
Well, Wendy, it looks like you got a full deck out there. Again, sorry we missed the freaking Tombstone Tales. I know you made me feel guilty about it, but we'll be there in April for sure. As always, we love to talk to the people that are on the ground making it happen, making it work, and it sounds like you're doing just a fantastic job out there for the city of El Reno, ensuring that history continues to not only, repeat the process of passing it on. It's a big part of why we're here and a big part of why you're here on the show. So we appreciate everything you're doing.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the opportunity to be on your show.
Absolutely. Well, Wendy, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hope you come on again soon.
Let me know when. I'll be here.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
All right.
So, Brett, that was our interview with Wendy. Dude, I feel like I just got a PhD in history.
And maybe a little bit of a PhD in parapsychology. I don't know.
Dude, you are such a chicken.
I am. I've been there at night. It's creepy. I've been to the graveyard. It's nutso out there. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of education going on if you're interested in that kind of thing.
And check out the link in the show notes.
Absolutely.
For all the events that they've got coming up, and you can always support them via that link as well.
So if you missed out on the last ghost tour in Fort Reno, coming up this weekend, we've got a ton of events headed your way. Stay tuned. Okay, before we go any further, where'd you get that shirt?
You mean this custom-designed Only in OK shirt?
Dude, the podcast is 17 seconds old.
The guys over at Master Threads printed them up for us.
Well, apparently not us. I don't have a Only in Oklahoma shirt.
Oh, did you not get yours?
Oh, and apparently a hat as well, embroidered? How is this even possible?
Brett, I'm just going to say that Master Threads is an Oklahoma-based company specializing in professional graphic design and embroidery.
And apparently lightning fast turnaround.
Absolutely. So they had made shirts for us in the past, back in the days when we were only internationally award-winning podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
They nailed that order too.
Well, apparently I'll have to call Jeff and the team at Master Threads myself to make it happen. But if you need local products from a local company you can trust, check out Master Threads at masterthreads.us.
That's masterthreads.us.
Master Threads.
All right, Brett.
Yes.
So we have a few things picked out this weekend.
Quite a few.
It's a jam-packed weekend.
I mean, if you're somebody that likes to be double booked, you may be in luck. There's a lot going on.
I think first and foremost, my first pick is the Fassler Hall presents Midtown Oktoberfest, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, October 4th, 5th, and 6th.
That's all weekend of nothing but brats and beer and polka music, right? I mean,
it is. And now, Midtown. You and I have been down to Midtown in Oklahoma City.
Down there. Yeah.
We love what they're doing down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a great vibe. It's got a lot of restaurants. We've been to a couple of them. Specifically, the one that kind of stands out in my mind.
Waffle Champion?
Yeah, dude, that place was awesome.
Oh, man. Like, it takes the chicken and waffles to the next level, but that's not what we're here.
No, absolutely not. So, the Midtown Oktoberfest, it's free.
Free.
3 days. Outdoor German food and beer festival. Like you said, they've got polka. They also have some contests that I believe are free to the public. So they've got a Stein hoisting contest.
I can hoist a Stein.
A best dressed contest.
I will not win that.
No lederhosen?
No lederhosen for me.
And they have the Dauschon.
You're trying so hard to say it. I just say Dotson.
Can I just say Wiener Dog?
Just say, or no, if you're trying to do it, you have to say it Wiener Dog.
Okay.
Like the Germans do, yeah?
So the Datsun Racing Contest, those are all on Saturday.
Now don't get it twisted. It's free to show up, but it's not BYOB. You're going to have to pay. You got to pay to hoist those steins.
Right, and I love what they're doing here. This, a portion of the event proceeds are going directly back to the Oklahoma Humane Society.
Absolutely. Great cause, great organization. I've worked with them a little bit in the last year, and just some great people to work with.
And if you're interested in going, you can go to Fassler Hall on Facebook. It's got all the information for that event. Definitely think it's worth a visit.
Now, this next event, I think it almost goes without saying, because when you think the first weekend of October, I think it goes hand in hand with the Oklahoma Czech Festival in Yukon, Oklahoma.
I agree with you 100%. So that is Saturday, Sunday, no Friday.
No Friday.
It's got one of Oklahoma's largest parades.
No doubt.
Starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Now, again, I'm all about the food in this particular situation, but they do have polka bands and then some traditional Czech and Slavic folk dances throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly,
food,
kolaches,
food,
sausages prepared by Oklahoma Czechs.
Yeah. And there's probably a funnel cake or two out there for you people that don't have any taste buds.
Dude, but more importantly, the pastries, the traditional Czech pastries.
Yes, the kolaches are fantastic.
Okay, but there's a big but on this one.
And you can get a big but if you have too many of them.
True, but there is a big but on the pastries. They bake like 2,500 dozen kolaches.
Good Lord.
And they're typically sold out by noon.
I know you can get them to go, but you got to go to get them to go. That's for sure.
So, again, this is one of those great organizations I'm super pumped on. But if you want to know more about them or more about the festival, it's checkfestivaloklahoma.com.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing on our calendar of events, the Down Syndrome Festival and 5K. Now, this has a special place in your heart, right?
It does. I have a cousin he's the toughest little boy I've ever seen. Cooper. He has Down syndrome, and he also is a cancer survivor. So, I mean, the guy's tougher than Rambo. So, yes, this is definitely a cause that's near and dear to my heart. And that's going down, if you're in the downtown area, it's going to be October the 5th from 8 to noon.
That's this Saturday.
That's this coming Saturday. If you're curious about the weather, it's going to be, low of 63, high of about 81. So if you quit halfway, you probably be all right. I'm not going to make it to the high. That's for sure.
I'm not going to run the 5K.
No.
But I might stand at the end.
No, but one thing they are doing, if you're not somebody that wants to run it, they're celebrating 25 years of their walk, and it starts at 9:30. So if you're more into the walk and trot.
Right. So the race starts at 8 a.m.
Right.
At the Myriad Botanical Gardens
Yes.
in downtown Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's
definitely
been a lot down there. Yeah.
Definitely a place to spend a few hours on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it does end in a huge celebration at the Myriad Botanical Gardens.
Right.
It is free and open to the public. Obviously, there's an entry fee if you want to run the 5K.
Right.
But more importantly, I'm super pumped on this. All of the fundraising is for the Down Syndrome Association of Central Oklahoma.
Just a number of programs that this money goes directly towards. So,
right. And if you want to sign up, you want to volunteer, be a 5K participant, or register for the awareness walk, it is dsfestivaland5k.com. The 5 is the number 5 in that, and there's a link in the show notes as well.
Absolutely. So you'll have time to go over to Oktoberfest for a little bit, slip on over to, or go to Oktoberfest afterwards, but definitely want to try to get down there and do that if you get a chance.
Absolutely. I'm pumped.
We mentioned it in our intro to the intro episode. There are just a ton of activities almost every weekend. You saw right there's a lot going on just in a 3-day span.
Right.
So how do you pick and choose? I don't know. Are you hungry?
I'm always hungry, so
right.
I always feel like the ones that include food kind of make it to the top of my list, which is probably a bad thing based on my blood pressure.
I mean, that's a pretty good list, but what did we miss? Did we miss something? Are we missing out on something? Let us know. Join the conversation. Always check us out at OnlyinOKShow.com. That's OnlyinOKShow.com.
Thanks for listening to the show. I am Harley.
And I'm Brett.